Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel Love Story with Technology. I'm Atish. Today we discuss about the how to migrate our on-premises server, on-premises Windows Server and Hyper-V Workload VMware to Microsoft Azure. This approach helps you to migrate on-premises servers, on-premises Hyper-V and VMware on the Microsoft Azure. So let's begin with the video. Here you can see the presentation which I prepared for this session. The strategy for lift and shift migrating on-premises Windows Server, Hyper-V, VMware to Microsoft Azure. This should be our expected outcome is a VMware, Hyper-V and on-premises server. If you have the multiple combination with some VMware, you have existing some VMware, existing some Hyper-V machines and on-premises server. And if you wish to all these workloads migrate to the other VM, this session is very important you to understand what strategy you need to use and in what manner you can perform this task. So I move to the next slide. So here the agenda for this session is introduction, prerequisite, benefits of Azure migration, step-by-step migration process, post-migration consideration. So let's begin with introduction. Lift and shift in the context of cloud migration. Second point into the introduction, that is brief introduction to the Windows Server, Hyper-V and VMware environment. Then third is the importance of moving to Azure. Lift and shift Azure migration is basically provide you the outcome on the Azure VM, like you are currently using the hypervisor in your existing environment for virtualization. Same like a hypervisor, you are using the VMware in your infrastructure for like same virtualization platform, and you have some physical servers as well for your production environment like on-premises Active Directory, SCCM servers. You might have the file shares and multiple on-premises workloads. So if you are wish all these on-premises Hyper-V and VMware configure with the Microsoft Azure, like if you are managing the multiple infrastructure, it is very complex. Like if you are using the VMware plus Hyper-V and the on-premises servers, so here is a lot of complexity while you are using this kind of combination on your on-premises structure. Azure provide you the unique security levels, unique features, is help us to optimize your cost, resource cost. Multiple benefits are there. So in this video we discuss that a resource utilizations plus how we decrease our cost and everything. Here you can see the prerequisite for migration. Infrastructure assessment is most important. Infrastructure assessment requires inventory of existing workload. That existing workload means your Hyper VM, how much Hyper VM you are using in current infrastructure, how much VMware you are using in your current infrastructure, what on-premises servers you have, like share, file share, SCCM servers, XN server, Active Directory servers, and if you are using the SQL database, that needs to become under the inventory, like applications which you design for your productions and your users, so that comes under the inventory. So this is the most important part of infrastructure assessment. Second one is network architecture and storage requirement. Network architecture and storage requirement, like what kind of network architecture you are currently using, what kind of subnetting you are currently using in your current infrastructure. Like if you are the global company and you have a multiple branch office and the multiple plants for your productions and multiple things. So that time you are using the network architecture, like you are creating some VLAN on your switches, L3 switches, you are configure some public IPs with netting and multiple lot of stuff which is including in the network architecture. That needs to be assessed, that needs to be documented in the network architecture. Your current network diagram also needs to be this part of this assessment. And storage requirement, like what kind of storage requirement you have and you are utilizing in your current infrastructure. Like your physical server, you have a file server and that file server storage is 500 GB. That needs to be calculated. You have exchange server, that exchange mailboxes size is matters in this situation, because uh, if you are wish to migrate all these workloads on Azure, first you need to understand what kind of storage requirement you have in current infrastructure, and that needs to be provision in your Azure tenant. So network architecture and storage requirement, it's also important before proceeding to the migration. Third one is compliance and security requirements. In current on-premises setup, how will you manage your compliance and security? That needs to be part of this assessment, because if you provision all this workload on-premises workload to the Azure, then you can manage everything in by using the Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Intune. There is a lot of features available in the Microsoft Cloud platform. So that compliance part and security part needs to be assessed, because all these things need to be validated, like your compliance and security, all these things available in the cloud platform. Second is Azure account setup. Azure account setup, it's a part of while before you migrating all these things. So you need to be create active Azure subscription into the portal.azure.com, then the Azure Resource Manager, ARN setup, virtual network and storage account configuration. Azure Storage Manager help Azure Resource Manager, ARM, help you to set up resources inside the Azure. Azure resources means you are creating the network architecture. So that time you need to create the VNet, same like your VLANs which you are creating in your on-premises. You are creating the VMs, same in Azure, same like your Hyper-V and your VMware. All these things we can set up using the ARM. Third one is virtual network and the storage account configuration. Virtual network configuration and storage account. Inside the virtual network, you need to create you can add your IP subnet which existing in your on-premises network infrastructure. Same you can create inside the virtual network. Storage account configuration, you can set up the storage account configuration into the Azure. Like if your database, if your all this data, and while you are migrating all these workloads, so this storage account help us to save the replicated copy of all these your on-premises servers, Hyper-V and VMwares inside the storage account and containers. It helps us to replicate to the other VM. So that storage account configuration is plays an important role while we are doing the migration. Third one is tools and software. Third one is tools and software. Azure Migrate or Azure Site Recovery. Second one is Windows Admin Center for managing Windows Server migration. Third one is Azure PowerShell and Azure CLI for automation. these tools we are using to migrate all these workloads. Second one is after migration to monitor and control your servers and workloads using Windows Admin Center. Third one, Azure PowerShell and CLI for automation. It's help you to automate the whole migration process using Azure CLI. So here in our new slide, so let's see the benefits of migrating to the Azure. Scalability and flexibility, easy to scale up or down based on your demand. Like today, you require the 8 GB RAM to your virtual machine due to your some of this heavy load tasks, and tomorrow you don't need to that RAM size, so you can easily decrease that size. Same you can do for any other resource like your storage accounts, your hard disks, and your IPs as well. If you require the public IP to access via RDP, you can assign the RDP to that machine for a particular time period, then you can remove it. So it is very easy to scalable and flexible to Azure to resize your VMs and everything. In terms of cost efficiency, always Azure provide pay as you go model. Let's reduce upfront cost. What you paid, that service is subscribed for you, and you can put the budget as well for a particular resource. Like if you put 10,000 monthly cost for particular VM, then Azure provide the alerts when that resource utilize 80%, and that cost efficiency you got using these features. Second is optimization cost with Azure hybrid benefits. So Azure hybrid benefits provide you the cost optimization. Like you can create your hybrid infrastructure very flexibly. So it's very cost efficiency in the Azure. Third feature is improved security. Advanced security features like Azure Sentinel Center and compliance with global standard. You can set up Azure Sentinel for your whole infrastructure. You can centrally deploy the compliance policy and security baseline using Azure Sentinel Center and the compliance using Microsoft Defender. Fourth one is high availability and disaster recovery. Azure provide all these availability, like there is option for local redundant, geo redundant. Same your VM will be available in same data center in different racks. That's all the local redundant. If you want the redundancy and availability as per the region, like one data center in your one region, like in USA, you put particular region your VMs into the US region. Second, you can choose the Mexico for redundancy and high availability. So there is a multiple option availability for your VM and availability for your virtual machines and all these workloads. As in disaster recovery, you can easily recover your VMs if any disaster happens using the Azure side recovery, Azure backup solutions. So you can within the minutes you can recover your VMs and images to avoid your any downtime. Fifth one, you can see that enhanced performance, access to Azure powerful infrastructure and global data center. As compared to your on-premises workload Azure platform. Here you can see the 100 times more efficient performance to the Azure virtual machines and multiple resources as compared to your physical hardware. Let's move to the next slide. So before discuss this side, if you have any question, you can ask and put your question into the below video section and just comment. I can address every question with your concerns, and don't feel to comment anything. If you have something to share with us, you can share. So in this side you can see the step-by-step migration process overview. So pre-migration process, second one is assess and discover on-premises environment, third one is Azure preparation, fourth one migrate workloads, fifth one post-migration validation. So let's see the pre-migration planning. In pre-migration planning, workload prioritization, which workload you need to prioritize. So you can just make a list of it, identify that critical workloads and non-critical workloads. So you just need to prepare the one list where you just mention the critical workloads, and the second one is non-critical workloads. Second one is downtime planning. Schedule the migration during the low traffic periods to minimize impact. Like, do not plan within your peak time of your productions and your users. Always plan your any kind of migration in low traffic period. Third one is backup strategy. Ensure all VMs and data are backed up before migration. So backup strategy, every organization set up their backup provisioning using multiple tools like Vim backup agent or multiple backup solution like Veritas and cloud solutions. So ensure that you have already taken all these VM backup on your tools, so that if anything mess happen during the migration, you can simply just restore all these things. Fourth one is compliance and governance. Align with organizational policy and compliance requirement. For this point, I always recommend to make your security team part of this migration, because they know your organization well as per the organizational compliance and security policy, as per your client requirement and a lot of audits requirement. So that needs to be comes under the planning while doing this migration, so that you can set up everything before migrations. So compliance and governance part need to be understand before the actual migration happens. So let's move to the next slide. Step 2, assess and discover on-premises environment. Assess and on-premises environment, it requires some tools like Azure Migrate for comprehensive assessment. You just need to install and configure the Azure migration appliance on any of your server which is under your domain to easily discover all these your workloads within your domain infrastructure and the network infrastructure. Same discovery process is happen once you install the Azure Migrate appliance on one of your server which is under the domain controller. Third one is performance baseline. Collect performance metrics for comparison the post migration. If you have any performance baseline configured in your on-premise infrastructure, like if you are using the SolarWinds PRTG to monitor your resource utilizations for your servers, hardware like RAM, hard disks, and network utilization, everything, that baselines needs to be prepared and documented. Then you can easily compare after the post migration if you got the same performance or your performance get improved. That's comparison plays an important role. So that needs to be documented. Move to the next slide. Step 3, Azure preparation, resource allocation. Create and configure Azure VMs to match on-premises specification. Resource allocation help you to create your virtual machine on Azure platform, same like your Hyper-V and VMware and your on-premises servers specifications. Set up Azure virtual network, NAG and subnet, same like your on-premises existing network infrastructure. You can take all this on-premises using network sub IP sub local IP subnets, your VLAN infrastructure. Same infrastructure you can build using the Azure virtual network. You can apply the multiple network security rules using network security group inside the Azure. Storage preparation. You need to choose appropriate storage option like Azure Blob Storage and manage this. Other Blob Storage you can use to keep all these images inside the Azure container and create the managed disk, and that managed disk needs to be help you to create the VMs. So that needs to be choose any specific storage. Configure backup and disaster recovery setting. So if once you prepare your VM or migrate your on-premises virtual machine to the other VM, you need to enable the backup for disaster recovery, so that within the minutes you can restore. If your VM get crashed, within the minute you can restore that VM using the other side recovery and other agent. Third one is network configuration. Network configuration help you to set up Azure Express route or VPN for secure connectivity. Configure Azure DNS and load balancing as you need it. If you want to set up the Azure DNS and load balancing, you can configure it. Move to the next slide. Step 4 is a migrate workloads. It's a final approach to migrate all these workloads. Migrate using the Azure Migrate. Migration using Azure Migrate. Replicate your on-premises VM to Azure. Second, monitor replication process and validate replication consistency. Initiate cutover to your Azure environment while doing the migrations. Migration using Azure side recovery, it's a second option. Set up a replication policies in ASR. Failover and failback testing to ensure smooth migration. Finalize cutover and decommission of on-premises infrastructure. Here is the two approach. This is the first approach and this is the second approach. Here is the step 5 to post-migration validation. Testing, conduct application workload testing to ensure everything runs smoothly. Performance validation, compare performance metrics against pre-migration baselines. Security compliance check, validate security setting and ensure the compliance post-migration. Optimization, fine-tune your resource for cost efficiency and performance. For this you can use the cost optimization center which is present in Azure, and we can explore all these features in next video. After this session we are preparing one another session to perform all these things, and I am going to share that video how to configure everything and how to migrate the on-premises Hyper-V on-premises servers, virtualize like hypervisor and VMware VMs to the Azure VM, and all these steps which we are discussing in this session, that all these steps and approaches we are use to perform all these things, and that you can see in the upcoming video. And documentation part, this is the documentation part is where it plays an important role. Document the entire process and update the IT policies as needed. It helps us to identify if any glitch happened between the migration. So documentation you must have to prepare. Move to the next slide. Most migration condition like monitor and management. Monitor and management use Azure Monitor and Log Analytic for ongoing monitoring, cost management using cost optimization center, disaster recovery and backup. Disaster recovery and backup. Regularly test the disaster recovery plans, schedule regular backups like incremental. If you want full backup, you can set up all this backup, and you can find all these setups to our channel, Love Story with Technology. There is all this backup schedule, how to configure that backup, setup disaster, everything is there. Scaling and future planning. Plan for future growth and scaling within the Azure. And what cost for that, everything you can set up for that scaling into the Azure. And I can share all these things in our upcoming video. That is a lift and shift approach of on-premises workload to the Microsoft Azure. So you don't have to worry. I'm there to help you if you wish to lift and shift your on-premises workloads to Microsoft Azure. And don't miss out to see our next video. In that video you can find everything, step-by-step configuration, how to migrate your on-premises servers, Hyper-V, VMwares to Microsoft Azure. Here we just gone through the overall overview. Still, if you feel I am not clear on any point, you can just comment it. We'll meet in the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe our channel Love Story Technology.